it's Sally here from Dotty B. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be working on a little project that's been inspired by K3N, Cloth Tales. It's her week 3 project. I've done week 1 and I'm skipping straight to week 3 because it's inspired me, and I have a great an idea that I'm really excited about to share with you. So I have prepared all of my little bits and popped them into my little workbox, so everything's in one place. And let me see what I've got. Yes, and I've got all my threads and pieces that I need. I'm just going to pop those out the way for now, and so I can show you what I'm going to do. It's a little patchwork, and the theme is diversity. So I'm going to explore the diversity of stitches and a little bit of what's led me to where I am now, I suppose, the stitches that I've explored in the past. And I think you have kind of phases where you go through different phases. So when I was a child, I played with my dolls and their clothes got worn, and so I remember the first time asking my mum for a needle and thread so I could repair or sew a button on maybe onto one of my doll's clothes, and that's when I first started stitching and sewing really. And then from there it went on to embroidery, and then at school I was encouraged to explore textiles, and that's really where my love of embroidery and textiles started. My teacher was really encouraging, and I think she could probably, I don't know, see something in me that I don't know. So that's how I started, and then it kind of grew from there. And I went through a phase of just freestyle embroidery, but then I went quite strict and drew pictures and almost satin stitched everything. I remember so that was one of my phases. And then I remember meeting somebody who was really heavily into cross stitch, and I'd not really, this was in my my late teens, I suppose, and I hadn't heard of I'd heard of cross stitch, I think, but I'd never really gone down that route. So she got me into cross stitching, and I went through years and years of cross stitching. I must have probably I would say until I had children. So from my late teens to when I had children, so 10 years, I just cross stitched. But I started to find it a little bit restrictive. I know you can design your own, but I always used to buy the counted cross-stitch packs, kits and whatnot. But I was happy doing that for a time, and then got a bit... Well, I had children, and then kind of children take over your life, and so for the next 15 maybe years I didn't do a lot of stitchery at all, although I did go into dressmaking actually. I just realised I went into dressmaking, so I tried my hand at that and made a few dresses and whatnot, and then as my children got older and they don't need you quite as much, I picked up my needle and thread again and just started doing a little bit of embroidery, and kind of got a lot looser with my technique. And so I suppose that's where I was destined to discover that there is this thing called slow stitching. So that was probably about I'd say 8 years ago, probably 8 to 10 years ago, I kind of picked up my needle again and whatnot, and started, and slowly, gradually, I suppose lockdown had a lot to do with it. I started working from home, and so my commute to work was cut down, and things did start to slow down in lockdown, and so I had so much time that I really delved into slow stitching, and that's kind of where I'm still at the moment. I don't know how I found the Roxy Journal of Stitchery kind of project. I think I started first, and that's when I started to film things. So it's kind of a gradual process of how things have gone for me. So anyway, I'm probably waffling a little bit too much, but that's kind of that's what I'm exploring here, is my journey to where I am now, really, and the diversity of stitches that I've used along the way to get here. So I probably loosely interpreted that a little bit different, but that's kind of what I'm going with anyway. So what I thought I'd do, I've got my little square, and this is, I can't stick to the 4-inch 10 centimetres. This is like 12 centimetres square, or it's 4 3/4 inches square. It might not actually be completely square, but it will. I think it's going, is it going that? It's going that way because it's going to fit my book page. So it's kind of like that kind of a size, and I'm going to do a 4-patch work piece, and then I'm going to sew something onto each square. That's what I'm going to do. So that's my piece, and I've kind of just finger pressed it, really, just so that I can see what kind of space I've got. So I can kind of see what space I've got there. But then I also thought, oh yes, another thing. Oh, let me just show you what I've done to my journal. Okay, so I've got my journal, and as I was cutting this piece, I had another piece left on the strip that I was cutting this off, and I thought, well, I may as well cut another one for the next piece, for the next project. So I thought, now where can I store my little pieces that I'm going to, you know, I might pre-cut, or even little bits that I might pick up along the way and think, oh yes, that would be nice to add to a stitchery. So what I have done at the back of my book is, I thought, right, I'm going to find a doily to make a patch pocket. And as I was rooting through some of my little treasures of little linens and whatnot, I found this, and it's, if you open it up, it is actually a little pocket. I don't know what it was used for. It's linen, gorgeous linen, with this beautiful cutwork flap, and I thought that is just perfect for that space. So in here I've got, look, another square, so that's for another project, and I can also pop other things inside if I want to. So that is on the back of my journal, where I can keep some little treasures and little bits and bobs along the way. So I'm also conscious that my journal is going to get quite big, and I did sew this log cabin thingy onto the back of this one, and I probably shouldn't have done. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do them each side. I'm going to just do one per flip over, if you like, because I'm worried that it's going to get too thick if I put one on each side of the page. With that in mind, I might put some things on the back of the pages, and this is what I'm thinking of doing, kind of like a little plan of my work and a little detail of how my work has come to be, my workings out, if you like. So this little piece of paper, it wasn't bigger than this. I've cut it down to the size of my stitchery square. I took part in the Artifarty Annie's stitchery swap last year, and some kind soul has they put a few bits in one of the envelopes, and this was one of the bits in one of the envelopes. Now, in my haste to tidy up yesterday, or the day before yesterday I think it was, it's kind of lost. It's got lost from the card that it came with, so I can't remember who sent it me, but thank you, and I'm going to use it. It looks like it's been hand dyed, so I thought that would be nice to use as my workings out page, and I'm going to stick this on the back of the piece, if you like. So let's get on anyway. I have cut out a template, and what I've done is I've drawn it to about roughly the size of that, with a little bit of a hem on it. That's going to be the outer edge. Some outer edges have got edging, and some are going to be raw edge. So what I'm going to do is just obviously they'll all have seams down the middle. So what I'm going to do here is I've got my 4 squares, so I've folded my paper and I can see where it is. I'm going to start planning what I'm going to do. Now, one of my first embroideries that I'm going to do applique. I'm going to do applique because I do love applique and I use it quite a lot in my work. And I've also got this piece here. Now this keeps turning up whenever it's in one of my scrap boxes, and it keeps turning up and floating away. It's on silk. It's ever so light and delicate. It was a silk handkerchief that was damaged already, and I've used it for some Suffolk puffs because I love making silk Suffolk puffs because they're so they look so vintagey, even though it's vintage fabric, but it's not a vintage puff because I've made it recently. But this was part of a silk handkerchief that was damaged, and the embroidery is so sweet, and I love the colours. So I kind of want to preserve this. So this is going to be, so I am appliquing it onto a piece of fabric. I'm not actually, that's all I'm going to do. And it's really to preserve it, and you know, just to remind us that there were other stitchers in the past who, you know, have made things and whatnot, and they are beautiful. So that's going to be my applique. So just here, I'm going to write applique so I know this is where I'm putting my applique piece. Now, I want to stitch this onto a piece of fabric, and the piece of fabric that I have chosen is this linen. Now this linen is a bit, I don't know whether you can see how yellow it is around this seam where it's been folded, and it's on both sides. It's a bit tatty, but I don't mind. So I'm going to use quite a clean corner, and I'm going to use this corner here. So what I'm going to do is just take my template and just draw some dots and join them up. So that's where I'm cutting anyway. Just doing it lightly, although it won't show when I've sewed it. Okay, so that's going to be my first piece. If I just get my scissors. So that's that one. I'm just going to pop that out of the way. So we've got this one. I'm going to leave these edges, so they're quite nice, and this is where I'm going to sew. So this here is going to go somewhere there. So that's going to be my first piece, applique. On the second one, I'm actually going to go down to this one first. This one here is going to be cross stitch. As I said, I did used to do a lot of cross stitch, so it's only fair that I include it. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do my monogram, and the reason why I'm doing that is because when I first started videoing, which wasn't that long ago, it was only last year, I was taking part in the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and one of the things I did was a cross stitch monogram, because the prompt was monogram for that month, and it's the first time I've done cross stitch in absolutely ages, and I really enjoyed it. Not that I'm going to go back to counter cross stitch, but just that little piece was really enjoyable. I did go wrong because I didn't count my squares properly, and so, but what I'm hoping to do this time, again, I'm going to use the edge. No, I'm not, because it's not going to sit properly. Is it going to sit properly? Probably not. Anyway, so here, what I'm going to do, I think it's that way, just a little bit longer that way. What I'm going to do, and I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but I'm going to do my monogram, and I'm hoping if I just hang on, what I need to do is just make sure I'm not using up, I need to centralise it without using my hem. I'm going to So if I do that, that's the piece I've got to, that's the space that I've got to work on. You can see I've already gone wrong because that's not where my monogram's going to start. I'm going to turn over and, oh, I've done it the wrong way around now, haven't I? Right, let's do that and that. So that's where I should probably draw it out on a piece of paper first and trace it. In fact, I think I will, just because otherwise. So what I'm going to do here, this is stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an S, kind of something like that, but better because that's a bit wonky. And then a couple of twirls up here maybe, and then maybe some little crosses like that. I don't know, something like that anyway, but I'm going to draw that out, and I think, and then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it on there, and then just do cross stitches where my drawing is, if that makes sense. So that's my second square. Right, in this square I want to do embroidery. Okay, now I want to do my little, I've got a little daisy picture that I've done a couple of times and I kind of want to do it again, so I'm going to do it again. It's just a bunch of little daisies, kind of like that, really, really simple. So that's going to be my daisy embroidery. And in this one here is going to be kantha. I'm hoping it's not going to look too plain, but I'm going to do some stitches like that, okay, because that's it's something that I only in the past few years have I really delved into and whatnot. So that's kind of where I am at the moment, I suppose, and just exploring different stitches and different ways of stitching and applying fabrics and joining fabrics and whatnot. So that's kind of where I am at the moment. It's not a full circle because I suppose I started with embroidery, cross stitch. Could be, I don't know, but that's how I want to place my pieces. So I've done my cross, I've got my applique, cross stitch. For my embroidery, I've got this piece of linen here. Now there's not a lot wrong with this linen, it's just a plain piece of linen. It has got some marks on it, but I did buy it specifically to use. I love old linen and I prefer to work with old fabrics, so it has got some marks on it, so I'm not going to be too fussed about cutting it up, but always that first delve into a new piece of fabric is a little bit you're thinking, am I doing the right thing? But I love the green edge on this, and my colours in this project are going to be the yellows, the blues and the greens that I'm taking from this piece of embroidery, and I'm going to follow that through with those colours. So, and I thought that would kind of go lovely. So that's what I'm going to do. This is going to be my embroidery piece. So I want to make sure that I am using the right corner as it's down here. I want the edge to be here, so that's what I want to, that's how I want to cut it. I hope I've done that right. So I'm just marking the points where to cut it. So something like that. Here we go. And this will get used, you'll probably see this quite a lot because I've cut into it now. I do like to use it, so you'll probably see this in future projects quite often. But I'm just going to pop that to one side. And have we got another piece? Yes, so my kantha stitching. I want to do it on this. This is a napkin, possibly. I think it's an old napkin. It's really thin. It's lovely texture and finish. I have already started to use it because I've used it for some Suffolk puffs and they came out lovely. So I've already used it. The edge was all fraying and everything, but I thought how lovely it was. So I'm going to use a corner, whoops, because it's so fun, it's catching on my dry skin. I think I'm going to use a corner anyway. That one's looking a little bit grubby. Let me just see what the others look like. I quite like that one. It's all tattered and torn. I should probably iron it, shouldn't I? Let's just see. Oh, no, that's been cut. Right, I'm going to use this one. It won't have a lot of this. Can you see the embroidery inside it? In fact, that's upside down. It's that way, but it's got like a damask feel, damask kind of embroidery in it. But that's what I'm going to use for this top corner. So again, it's going to be like that, isn't it? Yes. I'm going to just go in a little bit because I might overhang this a little bit because of that frayed edge. So I'm going to go in there. Oh, it will take on a little bit of the embroidery. It's a very flimsy fabric. It's not that sturdy, but once it's down, it'll be fine. Almost silky in texture. Right, I'm just going to pop that away along with that one. And we've got all our pieces. So that one's there. So if I'm looking at my template, I've got that there. That's going to be my kantha stitching. They will overlap because I've got to do a seam yet. That's going to be that one. That's going to be that one. And then that's going to be that one. So that's how it's going to look, roughly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take that off, is sew those together first. My little pins. I'm hoping if I just sew down here and then sew down the other one, so that one and then that one. I'm going to do it that way because then I can follow the squares, which will be easier to do. Every little thing like that helps. It gives me a straight edge. Right, so those two need sewing. Right, I've got my needle already threaded, so that's handy. And all I'm going to do is a straight line about the same width as my seam that I did, and then hopefully it will come out the right size for my piece. I'm just going to do a running stitch. I don't think they're fairly small, and I don't think I think that's all I'll need because they're going to be sewn down on the actual piece as well. On the actual backing working fabric is what I mean. So I don't know whether this video is going to be it might be in two parts, this video, just because I did a video the other day and I just got carried away because I was enjoying doing it so much that it turned out to be, I think it was like 1 hour and 17 minutes. Have I did that right? Yeah, 1 hour and 17 minutes or something like that, which I think it's my longest video yet. I don't know, maybe you like the long videos, I'm not sure. I mean, you have to let me know. Mine aren't usually that long. They're usually about anywhere between half an hour and an hour. Try to keep them under an hour, but right, so that's that, and then I'm just going to finger press them out if I can. I don't want to pull on them too much because, like I said, I've just done a running stitch, so it's not going to be mega strong, but because I am putting this onto another piece, I don't think it's going to matter. Is that the right? Yeah, that's the right way, isn't it? So it's kind of going to like that, and then I'm just going to do the other one with my thread. Again, with just a running stitch. Try and keep it the same width, depth, size, whatever as this one. And this one's nice and easy because I can just follow the little lines and little boxes. Like so. How are you all today? I don't think I've asked you that yet. Hope you're all okay, you're all well, and you're all finding a little time to stitch. It's always nice to put away a little bit of time to do what you love to do, if you can. It doesn't always happen, does it? But such is life, and what gets in the way. Okay, so that's that one. Let's see what that one looks like. It doesn't look absolutely level, but I can always trim it if it needs to. It's fraying. Right, so that's there and that's there. So yeah, that's okay so far. So I'm going to pop them together like this and then do another running stitch. Let's just take that off the backing. Another running stitch, if I can get them level. Try and get them in the middle. I'm not a patchwork person. I've never done proper patchwork. I've only ever done higgledy-piggledy things like this. It's too precise for me, and I'm not a precise person. I prefer just to wing it. So it's got to be something like that. I think that's about right. I'm going to just fold it back once I've pinned. You see, that's not level there, and there's nothing I can do about that because of the edges. No, there's nothing I can do, is there? No, it doesn't matter. I'm not that bothered. Just pop that one in there. That's not level. Let's see, it's not level. I am wonky already. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so up we go. It's going to be something like that. So there is going to be a little bit of a should I do, no, because then that won't be right, will it? Okay, not to worry. Which way does it go? It goes like that, doesn't it? So at least it's the right size to put on the base. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it. I think it is a little bit out, but I know what I'm going to do. Should I undo it and try that again? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Nope, I'm going to leave it. I should probably unpick it and do it again, but I'm not going to, because it's higgledy-piggledy anyway. It hasn't got to be perfect. Right, so the line that I've already folded, I'm going to go long. The pin's getting in my way. I'm hoping just as long as I've got a little bit of it crosses in the right direction, ouch, then it should be okay. Right, so this is where it might get a little bit bulky because I've got the extra pieces. As long as they're lying flat, it should be okay. I'm just going to take my time to make sure that they are. Yep. And then I carry on my way. One more. Oops. I'll finish that off. There we go. I need to find my little scissors, they're a bit bulky. There we go. Okay, the big reveal. Yes, I've got a cross, so that's okay, isn't it? So what I'm going to do here is just flatten these out as well. Just press them down. And then if I get that, it's that way, isn't it? It should lie flat. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that's... Oh, I didn't realise that was underneath. I'm just going from one side to the other, just so that it makes sure it's all settled down. Like that. Oops. There. Okay. So that's how it's going to be and how it's going to look. So I think I might sew down here to tie it all together. Can you see how that's gone up like that? I might just tuck that in. Oh, look at that. There, tuck that in. That doesn't look half as bad then. Like that. And just put a little stitch behind it. Yeah. Okay, so just make sure that's going to be my first one. Then I'll do a template for that one. That's going to be kantha stitch, so that's just going to be a running stitch all over. And then this one's going to be my little embroidery, little like English country cottage embroidery, I think. So let me just see what time we are. Oh, we're only half an hour or so. That's okay. Do a little bit more then. I may as well get started on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to applique this onto it last. When I say applique, it's just going to be sewing it on basically, but it's applied to the cloth. So that's, I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to. That's my interpretation of it. So it's more saving little pieces that, you know, you could easily just discard that and think, oh, I'm not going to use it or whatnot, it looks a bit tatty, but I'm not. I'm going to save it and cherish it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's my thoughts behind it. So let's get on and get rid of my pins. So let's do this first. I am going to do a stitch. I'm going to do a not decorative stitch, it's just going to be a little bit of a whip stitch, but I'm going to do it in a colour, and you've probably guessed it, it's going to be my favourite thread, favourite sewing thread. My anywhere, anytime colour, goes with everything. I've yet to put it with anything that it doesn't go with. I don't know, just, what is it? Oh, that's not very good, is it? Dear me. Deary me. 2, 3, 4, and I've done it again. I've let go. Oh no, it's done it. It's a bit of a messy knot, but hey ho. Right. So I'm going to, shall I start? I'm going to start there and just get that tucked in out the way, I think. Hopefully my stitches won't be seen too much. I should probably do it in a, I'm just thinking, should I do it in a cream just to hide it? It's not going under. It's not playing. I can. I'm going to do it to the backing fabric. See, it's useful. Not just for backing, for hiding your stitches. Hopefully that will work. Again, this isn't going to be a piece that I'm going to be showing the back. It's nothing special on the back. Nothing to see here. Just a few messy stitches. Right, that's fine. It's being held down. I think once I manipulate it onto that piece, it's going to look okay. It would help if I weren't trying to sew my fingernail onto the piece as well. Yeah, you see, that's not too bad at all. I quite like that. Right, let's get some stitching done. I'm just going to fold it in half if I can. And all I'm going to do is a tiny little whip stitch all the way along. You'll be able to see the thread and the stitches, but again, I like that. I don't know whether you can see my thumbnail or not, where my needle keeps catching my nail. I just can't grow my nails because of all this stitching. They just keep breaking off. I'm just going to take that needles and pins and needles out. Yeah, I'm glad I chose this little piece of linen. I can just picture an old little embroidery on it. Although it won't be old, it'll be new, but it'll look old, hopefully, when I've finished with it. Well, we woke up this morning and it had been raining overnight. It was all wet and sludgy. We were going to go out early, not too far from us, about half hour or so away. There's a antique market and car boot sale at Melton Mowbray. You might have heard of it. They're famous for pork pies, absolutely yummy. We were going to go there today, but it was rainy, and it is covered, but for some reason, even though it's covered, when the weather isn't very nice, there's not many people go, so it's probably a little over half an hour actually. It's about 40 minutes maybe, and sometimes it's just not worth getting up early, because you have to get up early and go in. We were all set to go, and then we looked at the weather and thought, oh blimey, that's going to put people off. So it put us off. So we didn't go. I'm just holding on until the spring March, or the car boot sales and the flea markets come back on. So can't wait. Get out there and see what little goodies we can find and look after and salvage and use and enjoy. Had a little hunt around my room the other day, because I sell stuff at an antique and vintage shop. I've got a little, probably mentioned it before. Oh, I have mentioned it before actually. Let's take that one out. Shop, at an antique shop, I rent a little bit of space there. I've got some shelves and a little bit of a room, like an alcovey type room type thing, where I put all my bits and pieces, and had a rummage around my room, because this is where I store all of my stuff that isn't being sold at the moment. Sometimes some things are seasonal, so I don't always put everything in all at once. So yeah, I had a rummage and found some bits. So you kind of think you haven't got anything, but I found some stuff. So I've managed to replenish my shelves a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, but it looks a little bit better. Right, so that's that one. Just go through there. Just tie it off at the back. There we go. Oops. There. Okay, it's a bit of rough stitching, but I like the way it looks, the shabby look, if you like. So I'm just going to do the same again. In fact, I'm just thinking, you don't want to see me do this. I'm going to just leave that actually, because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just leave that. I'll do that off camera if you don't want to see me do that. I am going to do this one. So what I'm going to do is, I am going in my little drawer of tricks. I've got some tracing paper. It's disappeared. There it is. Tracing paper. So I am going to see, just pop the lid on that. Okay, so I'm just going to that's kind of the space. That doesn't look right at all, does it? Oh, I know why. Because it's the wrong size I'm doing. Oh my days, what am I doing? Right. It's there. And it's there. And it's there. Right. Kind of like that. Right. So, what I want is... I did a few because I don't like that one. Okay, it's not too bad. That's the one. There we go. Perseverance pays off. It might be too big actually, but we'll see. I don't know, something like that. Right, I'm just going to cut this out because that's the one I'm going to use. I haven't tried this before. I'm hoping it's going to work. Right, piece of paper. Like this. Get the back. Right, let's have a go and see. That's where it's going to go. I'm hoping then if I just, let's just go for it. I should probably practice, shouldn't I, really, first? But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the S first of all. Let's see if we can get an S on there. And I might just freehand the rest. Yeah, okay. So wherever the pencil is, I'm hoping it'll work if I just do cross stitches on there. Okay, let's see if it works. I am going to use, I thought I'd use like a variegated blue for this. Is it variegated? Oh, I thought this was variegated and it's, is it variegated or not? Or is it just a bunch of, it's just a bunch of, oh, I thought that was variegated. Right, okay, just hang on, I've got one. Sorry about this. This is what happens when you buy, that's got to be variegated, hasn't it? Right, let's try that one instead. It's a bit brighter than what I thought. That is a bit brighter than what I was wanting. Okay. I might not do variegated, or should, right. Oh. I am going to try the variegated, and I'm going to not use the darkest bit. I'm going to cut that off, I think. I don't even know what this make is. It's just Trebler. Not heard of them before. When was it made? Was it 100% cotton? I don't know. Anyway, right, look, I can use, and then it goes dark. Right, I'm going to take off that because that's okay. Oh dear me. I think it should be 6 strand. I'm just going to use 2. So let's see how we get on. Yeah, I've lost my needle. No, I've not. I could do with a blunt needle actually, couldn't I? This shows how long ago I cross stitched. I did dig out a needle, a blunt needle, when I did the Roxy one, but I don't know where I put it. They're all my sharp needles. I have got a little pot of blunt needles. Oh look, there we go. There's my blunt needles. Sorry about the racket. Let's find one out of this. Although I've got to, blimey, I've got to go through that, haven't I? I've just realised. I get a thin blunt one. Let's get a thin blunt one and try that. Let's see how we go. What kind of an eye has it got? Yep, it's in. Yep, yep. Right, so got to remember to cross not. Just embroider. I'm not going to do all of this. What I'll do is I'll do it off screen and come back to you, and it'll either be a success or I'll have had to unpick my work and think again. But we'll see. Got to try these things, haven't you? I think it's going to work. Can't see why it wouldn't. It's just with cross stitch, you can never be too sure how it's going to look, because it's like this, like crosses are staggered, aren't they, and whatnot. And I've gone for a small hole. What's it called? Like, is it squares per inch or holes per inch? It's, what's this one? I think this is 18. So it's a fairly small one. Can't even find the hole there. No. I'm just going down in a straight at the moment, so if it's like that in a straight line, then I may probably do one here, something like that, just to make it look okay. God, you need good eyesight for this. Good lighting. Right, I think we're going out. Okay. Oh, blimey. No, it's not. It's down another one. And then I think it's going over to the next. Shifting over one. Right. I think I'll just show you a couple more and then we'll see. I've wanted to use variegator just because I thought it might look a bit more, it might look a bit faded and kind of oldie. Vintagey. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do anyway. Can you see that? So where it stops here, I'll probably put, I'll go in a little bit and just do kind of curve it round. Let's just, you know, by eye, I think I'm going to see. But I think that's going to work out all right, actually. And then I'm going to embellish it a little bit more, put some little crosses round it and whatnot. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I think I'm probably going to leave it there. So that's going to be that one. I'm going to do my little, did I draw out my little embroidery? Yeah, little embroidery there. And then a kantha stitch there. So that's going to be what I'm going to do. So I'm not sure whether, shall I do it all or shall I cut? I might just do it all and then come back and show you, because I've actually done this before and I think I've shown you how to do that before, a bit like a vintage style embroidery. So I may, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish it all off and then just come back at the very end of this video and show you what I've done, I think, and then put it into my journal. So that's it. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, I've now finished my piece. Just put it up to the camera a little bit so you can see what I've done. So I've sewn this little piece in here. Now this is off a silk handkerchief. It was just a little corner that I hadn't used. It kind of, I won't say applique, but it's not applique because it's an applied piece of fabric onto another fabric, and it's more about preservation and just saving what was there, and an old little piece of silk and embroidery and whatnot. So that's one of my corners. Then I've done over here, I've used some variegated blue thread and just done a running stitch. It's not even, the stitches are all over the place, but they're in lines, but that's the kantha stitch that I really enjoy doing. I've done my cross stitch now and finished that off. It worked out quite well actually. I will definitely use this method again if I do any more cross stitches. All I did was took the pencil and then stitched over the pencil, and then when I came to do these curly bits I just did a little bit of a pencil line again and just followed that line, and then I've just done some random, well not random, but they kind of go around the corners, the crosses there, and then a little embroidery, which is just the little daisies that I have done before, but I do like doing those, so I just thought they would look nice. So that's all done, and I'm going to pop it into my book now. So I've got my book here. Now I did mention before that I'm concerned about it getting a little bit too full if I use both pages, so I'm going to put this one here, and then I'm not going to put anything on the back of it, and then see how I go. I may just do little drawings or something like that, but that's going there anyway. So I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to glue it in again. I'm not going to stitch it in. So all I'm going to do is just dab a tiny little bit of glue, just a glue stick all over it, just so that it catches. Oops. And pop it in. That's not quite straight, but there you go. There we go. So that's my little piece done. So I hope you enjoyed watching me construct that and design it and whatnot, and put it all together. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.